Okay, so we had this situation. It's weekend. The client is actually, the main business is a client of mine, and I've worked for him before, but I got kind of like some spidey senses, or kind of some red flags, or just, when they say listen to your gut, you usually do need to do that. And today was a perfect example of that. So I want to put this out there, and I've been wanting to make a video about this, and now it's a good time to help actually give you a real world example of when to listen to your gut and those spidey senses that you have. Sometimes, and it has happened, where people have asked me to try and open something and it wasn't theirs, or they didn't have permission to do so. So that's where the due diligence comes into factor. And I really believe that is actually put on the locksmith themselves. This is how I take it anyways. And so this is how important it is to me, and this is my method and system of dealing with that. If this makes sense to you and you want to start incorporating it with your business, that's great as well. What we have to remember is what do we sell as locksmiths? Number one, we sell security and peace of mind. When people call us to rekey a house, or add a lock, or add something to their home or their vehicle or whatever it is, they're paying for peace of mind. They're paying for a professional who is honest and trustworthy, that has integrity to be able to complete the task that they were paid to do when they were paid to do it. Because we bypass security, because it is our job to defeat the things that are supposed to keep the honest people honest, we have to hold ourselves to a whole nother level of trust, honesty, and integrity. So if most people are right here, we need to be up here, or you're not going to have a very successful business. If people don't trust you, they're not going to use your business. They're not going to use your services. So how do we remain trustworthy and verify facts? So let me go into the situation here. I get a phone call, and the younger kid says, hey, I'm locked out of this store, and he gives me the name and the number, and that's how I know it's a client of mine. So I'm like, okay, all right. And he kind of said something that just caught me the wrong way, and was like, yeah, I know this is going to be a little weird, but I really do work here. And I'm like, okay, antenna up, red flag raised, spidey senses tingling. And so I'm like, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start engaging and using words that are specifically designed to scare somebody away if they're not being completely honest. And so here's the formula that I used. I said, okay, number one, I need to have your manager's name, telephone number, and email address, and I'm going to contact them right now to verify that you're supposed to be there. Now, keep in mind, it's early on a Sunday, so we may not be able to get a hold of that person. But that's option number one, is I want to verify with somebody else. If it's for a company, there's going to be a manager. If it's for a person or a resident, there's going to be an owner of the house, or a parent, or somebody else that we can verify that. Same thing for cars. People drive other people's cars. People do Airbnb with other people's houses. People let other relatives and family members and friends stay at their other houses and drive their cars. So it's not uncommon. They may have permission, but they may not have permission right then and there from that particular person, and I need to be the one that finds it out. My philosophy is this: I make sure that I gather enough information that I think if I got taken to court, I would be able to cover my assets, CYA, and be able to defend myself and say, I did my due diligence to actually make sure that this happened, okay? And that I did the proper things that I'm supposed to do, so I would catch anything along the way. So I tell him, I'm going to contact your manager. We're going to do these other things. I need your photo ID sent to me. And here's one of the other key buzzwords that I actually use is I'm going to notify the local police department about this call, and if there's any problems or anything comes up, just know that I'll be keeping all of this information, and I will be documenting every step along the way, including recording the process while I'm there, so that if there's any problem, I'm going to turn this information over to them. Now, what did I just do? I just created fear, okay? If they have nothing to hide, then it'll be an immediate, yes, I need to get this done. Please come out and please continue to solve the problem. If it doesn't need to be done right away, or there's a problem, if there's some kind of a problem with that, then what's going to happen is they're going to start getting squirrely. And that's what I want. If you start getting squirrely on me when I'm asking these questions and telling you these things, I know that something's up. So, luckily, today, he had no problem with it. He sent me his photo ID. He knows I have his address, information, email. He knows that I'm going to be contacting the manager. He knows that I'm going to be talking to the bosses. And he knows that I'm going to be doing all of these things, and that if I have this information, I will turn it over to the authorities if there's a problem or if he's not being honest with me. Once I've done that, that puts all the ball back in his court. So it's his choice to whether to move forward or not. So because he didn't hesitate any step along the way, I did feel that it was legitimate. I did feel like I had enough evidence to be able to go out there and perform the task. And I did call and talk to the manager, and I did confirm everything with them. So these are just some ideas to plant seeds for you so that you can make sure that you cover your assets and make sure that you are doing your due diligence so you're not opening a vehicle, a car, a building, a home, a safe, a filing cabinet, anything without checking first, without making sure you're collecting all the proper information, collecting as much data as possible, and actually verifying it with the people that need to be doing it. That's the difference between a professional and a scammer. Please check out the rest of the video and enjoy. I hope that anybody out there that is not incorporating these techniques will start doing so. If you didn't know, now you can't say that you didn't know. And I really hope that most people are doing this, and this is just some reinforcement along the way. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll watch me get into this. Oh, I'll go into that just a little bit too, but yeah, it was an exit device, and it had a Yale pericentric keyway on it, so they're kind of a little bit of a pain in the butt to pick. I noticed that I had some room with the glass on one side, and I also noticed that I had a lot of, it engaged, the exit trim engaged a lot. I could feel I was starting to retract that latch, probably a good 1/4 inch or more, just by lifting up on the handle. I had more travel going up, so we go up and then put the airbag in there. It actually spread the window side over the frame into the window, and the door popped right open. Didn't have to pick anything. Just had to have some really good airbags. So that's how we got in. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and enjoy the Locksmith documentary.
Here you can see what I was describing, where I looked at the lock and was able to realize that it would probably be easier to try and bypass as opposed to picking. So we used an airbag tool to simply spread the jam and got access quite quickly.
Okay, so what we did here is, this is a Yale pericentric keyway, and that was just a little bit tight, so we were able to actually go ahead and use an airbag to defeat the latch. Hold on one sec, I just got to document this. So you can see what I was feeling is I could feel that that lever was moving quite a bit, and so I was able to retract this and then get that air wedge in here, and it basically just spread the door open and popped that open.
This portion of the Locksmith documentary is presented by Freeman Manufacturing, our sponsor for precision tools for the locksmith professional. Check out Freeman Manufacturing.